Hello there friends, it's CS2 News Hub. In today's episode, Brazilian team abuses a bug right at PGL Astana, Eternal Fire reveals their new roster, KSCERATO gets called a rat by his own teammate, and also we break down the first matches of PGL Astana, and as always, a bunch of other exciting news from the world of CS2, so without further ado, let's get straight to it. Alright, let's kick things off by going back to one of our earlier episodes, where we mentioned that the CEO of Eternal Fire had hinted at a major roster update coming soon. Well, and it finally happened. The Turkish squad has officially announced their new lineup, and it's a mix of familiar faces and some lesser-known names. The core of the team is imoRR and Calyx. Both of them already worn the Eternal Fire jersey in the past. Joining them are Emstar and jresy from Eternal Fire Academy. These two recently played for Pacific, and player number 5 is Lugsen, who also previously competed for Pacific. Interestingly, Eternal Fire decided to take a bit of gamble. They've given the roles of OPER and IGL to imoRR, even though in Pacific, Lugsen was the main OPER and Emstar was calling the shots. As for the coach, they're bringing back ElPrincipe, who used to coach the Academy roster. The team also made a few changes to their jersey. First, they brought back the classic gold logo, and second, the jersey is now red, a nod to their home country. That's also something they emphasized in their official statement, saying that their mission is not just to compete at tournaments, but to proudly represent the Turkish flag. All in all, my friends, it's a pretty interesting lineup. Most of the players already have solid chemistry. The coach knows part of the team from his academy days, and the veterans are expected to guide and support the younger guys. So who knows, maybe we'll see a complexity style glow up here, like when they signed 2 tier 3 players earlier this year and started climbing fast in both the HLTV and Valve rankings. Now let's talk about another underdog team, Ninjas in Pyjamas, as Sjuush decided to speak about joining the new team. Sjuush admitted that he's been feeling a bit weird lately, watching his former teammates play at top-tier events while he was grinding through brutal open qualifiers. But surprisingly, he's actually enjoying the process of starting from zero. He sees the team improving day by day, getting stronger with every step. It also helps that his individual stats are on the rise, something he credits to the experience he gained while playing for Heroic. Now he feels more confident speaking up, sharing his thoughts openly and mentoring the younger players. And to top it all off, he says regular physical activity has helped him boost his mood and energy. In the same interview, Sjuush also pointed out how flawed the new VRS system is, clearly saying that it needs a fix, although he's not sure how it should be done. In his opinion, the main issue is open qualifiers again and again, where you have to win every single match just to stay in the race. That's why Ninjas in Pyjamas is aiming to go all in at PGL Astana, hoping to rack up as many points as possible. And by the way, they've got a secret strat lined up, which we will reveal later in the episode during the PGL Astana breakdown. Before we move on to the next news, let me tell you about CSGO Fast, as they're turning 10 years. CSGO Fast is the oldest and most trusted website in the history of CS skin games. Feel like Gaben is unfair to you? On CSGO Fast you can open tons of profitable cases and pull that dream skin you've always wanted. They've got a huge variety of games, including intense case battles. You can even invite a friend and win together. Surely you all love raffles. CSGO Fast runs free raffles every 6 hours, giving away skins to random participants. Plus, they regularly host special events. Right now is their 10-year anniversary, just look at the prizes up for grabs. And if you're a true CS veteran, you already know the community has trusted CSGO Fast for years. That's why they have a loyalty system for regular users and a ranking system with extra bonuses. Do I even need to mention skin prices? You already know they're awesome. And if you don't want to deposit, no problem, you can always use their referral system to earn points. Use promo code CSGO News Live to get plus 10% to your deposit and a free case. The link will be in the pinned comment. Speaking of player interviews, YEKINDAR decided to share his feelings about playing for FURIA. He says that he's now a mentor in the team, acting as the glue that holds the squad together. According to the Latvian player, during practice and even outside the server, he often ends up translating between molodoy and the Brazilians. Sure, it can impact the in-game performance a bit, but molodoy is extremely talented, and so far no one's had a single complaint about his play. The vibes within FURIA are super chill and friendly. Everyone's just joking around with Fallen, saying that he spent 8 years playing the wrong role and should have been a rifler all along. Especially when you look at his T side, where he's creating tons of space, often just with his utility. Speaking of utility, KSCERATO is a grenade god, according to YEKINDAR. Marek said that KSCERATO got nasty nade lineups, most of the time dealing a lot of damage to the enemies. But KSCERATO doesn't want to share them with anyone, not even his teammates. So YEKINDAR jokingly calls KSCERATO a rat for keeping the secret nades to himself, you know? But, well, maybe KSCERATO will spill the beans later. YEKINDAR said FURIA offered him a trial run of 3 tournaments, and after that it will decide whether he stays or not. If he sticks around, those lineups might finally be revealed. That also gives Fallen's recent quote, "I hope YEKINDAR stays with us for a long time," a bit of more weight, doesn't it? Guys, what do you think of molodoy and YEKINDAR in FURIA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. While some teams are still in their honeymoon phase, others are already facing serious issues. And no, we're not talking about NAVI or FaZe. This time it's about Virtus.pro. Over the past month, the Bears managed to lose to not 1, not 2, but 3 underdogs. Rare Atom, FlyQuest, and even Ninjas in Pyjamas, who barely cracked the top 38. So what's going on within Virtus.pro? They signed Flamus, a super hyped player, but he's not delivering that much. Let's take a look at the numbers. Last year, Timur had a solid 1.10 rating, but over the past 6 months, it dropped to 101. His impact also took a hit from 122 to 106, and his firepower down by 36 points, which is not great. But wait, VP made 2 roster changes, so maybe the real improvement came from the new AWPer. Yeah, not really. IC used to average a consistent 1.12, but now he's at 105. Even his impact went down. Sure, comparing a full year to half a year isn't totally fair, but the decline is hard to ignore. Trying to solve the puzzle, Thorin came to a conclusion. The issue might be the in-game leader, Electronic. According to Thorin, Electronic isn't just fragging anymore, and the numbers back it up. He's currently second to last among pro players in terms of stats. The only one doing worse is Cadian, who just got kicked from Astralis. Which begs the question, when will Virtus.pro finally get a real captain? Someone who doesn't just yell at the teammates, but actually builds solid communication. You know, just like an Astralis. In response, Electronic said that the team recently had yet another coaching change. Now he and Finn are working on fixing the team's synergy, and the main goal is to help the younger players gain confidence. And for himself, he said that he's trying to stay calm and less emotional. Just to be clear, all these thoughts are Thorin's take. Guys, again, let us know what you think in the comments below. Speaking of coaches, we have to admit that we lied a bit earlier. We are gonna talk about NAVI's issues, especially since Blade himself recently shared some insights. According to Blade, most of the problems are way overblown. Yeah, the team's been losing, but not nearly as bad as the community makes it out to be. He says people are too focused on stats and completely overlook other important factors. Take their Mirage game versus Falcons. They ended up the half 9-3, which shows it's not about aim or stats, it's about understanding the map. And one of the key steps towards fixing things is a proper bootcamp, where the team plans to rework certain strategies. But even then, beating top 5 teams won't be easy. The competition is insane right now, and NAVI's old final strats from last year have been studied to death. There's also a mental side to it. Blade admitted that the team kinda lost their motivation after last year's success. That's something he plans to work on too. And well, it's not just NAVI that has work to do. Blade said that Simple has grind ahead of him. A lot of it. Blade said that Simple still has the X factor, but these days that's not enough. The meta has changed a lot, and if Simple takes the time to really study and adapt to it, he could become a terrifying opponent once again. But if he skips the process, there is a real chance that we will see another Falcons situation all over again. That said, FaZe does have a safety net, Kerrigan. He can actually guide Simple through the adaptation process, but in the end, it's all about whether Simple wants it himself. And you know what, guys? Judging by how he's been practicing lately, he really does. He's clearly putting in the work for a full-blown comeback. And now, my friends, let's finally talk about PGL Astana, where things kicked off with a pretty controversial moment moment involving the Brazilians, and several teams already falling short of expectations. Let's discuss it, but we will keep it in order. In round 1, matches went as expected, most of them. NAVI cruised past M80, the Mongolians took down FURIA, although the new international FURIA lineup showed real promise on Anubis.
This is, again, in truth, I just think it's sort of a bit of a hiccup. It's not ideal for FURIA. I don't think it's a big deal. It has to go so much further than this, but it's a nice clutch nonetheless.
Spirit handled Gamer Legion, and Pain beat Hooxi. Although one match definitely stood out. It was Astralis versus ODDIK. Yeah, Astralis won, but their performance on Ancient was, let's say, not that confident. They got slapped 2-13 on their own map pick. Ouch. Still, they won it. But that wasn't even the most shocking result. Talk about Aurora, the ex-Eternal Fire guys, who are currently ranked number 6 in the world. First, they barely made it through a half-dead BIG on their map pick. Then they lost their own map pick, and on the decider Dust 2, they were 6-0 up, only to lose 8-13. Yikes! Maybe it's the pressure of joining a new org, maybe the backlash from the fans is hitting them, or maybe there are deeper issues within the team. Then there's Virtus.pro, who once again managed to surprise us, and not in a good way. They lost to Ninjas in Pyjamas. And guys, remember the secret strat we mentioned earlier? Well, here it is. Train. According to Sjuush, most teams still haven't fully adapted to the map, making it the perfect weapon for underdogs, and Ninjas in Pyjamas, well, they mastered it. They've got all the rotation timings down, all the nade setups. They know exactly when to push and when to peek to secure the frag. And Virtus.pro clearly didn't expect the train pick, and it showed. They lost the second half 0-7. Sure, they managed to bounce back a little on Dust 2, but by the time they hit Ancient, they looked completely out of steam. And, well, yeah, they lost. Next was G2, and oh boy, they lost their first match. But to be fair, they kinda get a pass here. You know, they were up against a fairly beatable opponent, sure, but they had to play with Taz, standing in for Hunter. Yeah, right, we're talking about the coach, Taz. I mean, he's not on the same level as Kovac. As for the match itself, both teams traded map picks, and on the decider, G2 just threw it. They were leading 10-2 and let it slip away. Maybe Hunter wouldn't have let that happen, but let's be real, G2 love throwing comebacks. It's kinda their thing. What was surprising though, Snax finished with a 1.24 rating and was actually the best player for the Samurai in that match. Can you imagine? If Snax is the frag leader, oh my. Day 2 also delivered some bangers, but first let's quickly run through the more standard results. In the 1-0 bracket, NAVI stomped BIG. Everyone on the team had 1+ rating, total dominance. The Mongols also had no trouble taking down MIBR. But then came the real shocker. Spirit had to struggle against... wait for it? Ninjas in Pyjamas. Yeah, those same Ninjas in Pyjamas. The ones who went all the way to a regional tournament in Los Angeles just to farm VRS points. And some confidence as well, but as you can see, it helped. Once again, it was because of their cheeky train pick. Spirit actually took the first half, 8-4, but then Ninjas in Pyjamas pulled off a huge comeback on City side, forcing OTs, where they just kept playing the insanely bold CS. Luckily, Spirit pulled themselves together in the overtimes and clutched a 2v5 to steal map 1.
Shiro hits a double out of nowhere. Zontic as well. Not again. Another 2v5 to close the map. A brutal exit for NIP, who went all the way. And now Wrinkle.
Trigger discipline. No, you've seen this cost them before. Shiro will turn and a 2v5 to close. Brutal scenes here.
On Dust 2 though, things looked way more stable. They just dominated the first half 11-1, and Magix even landed a knife frag on round 2. Obviously, the final score was Spirits 2-0, and now they're up against Astralis. Wait, what? Astralis at 2-0? Oh yeah, guys, it's super fun. These dudes haven't made it out of a single group this this year, they bombed out of the RMRs and they had to loan Hooxi just to keep going because he was a free agent. But the GigaChat buff really hit that hard. They just rolled over Pain, and both Stavon and Device looked way sharper than usual. Maybe guys, it's just the time to lock in Hooxi for full time. You know, in G2 as well, he knew how to make his stars shine, so here happens the same thing. Meanwhile, in the 0-1 bracket, things weren't as clean. Aurora barely made it past Ho2, and it was a roller coaster. They won the opener on Mirage, but then dropped Anubis, a map they used to dominate with a huge win streak. And on the decider, it all came down to a 1v3 clutch from YEKINDAR, who saved the day and closed it out 13-11.
The time down, runs the clock in his favor. YEKINDAR to another kill, and YEKINDAR wills it into existence. It will be Aurora taking the win. There's no time for this defuse. Yuka has to go right now. He gets to it. He's gonna stick it, but YEKINDAR opens up the door, and it will be victory for Aurora. A 13-11, a 2-1 win.
Safe to say, something's clearly off with Aurora. But at least that ain't bad, because G2 ran into the Brazilians from ODDIK, and it got weird. On Anubis, the Brazilians started dominating right from the pistol round. KSCERATO pulled off a Beretta's ace, no joke. It was nice and powerful, but on Dust 2, things got controversial. ODDIK decided to exploit a bug. I will break it down now. In round 3, ODDIK were on an eco. To level the playing field, they decided to buy scouts and use a bug. You know, in the early days of CS2, you could have just bought a weapon, shoot from it, and then sell it full price. Then it was fixed. But the bug still works if your teammate drops you a weapon and you get only one bullet. So yeah, a teammate buys a scout here, drops it to another player, that player fires a single shot, then drops it back, the original buyer sells it and gets all the money, which is a crazy thing for eco rounds. So best case scenario, they get an early frag and start the round strong. And worst case scenario, they don't lose money. Basically an economy cheat code. Valve patched it, but it only works with sniper rifles and only after one shot. So did this bug help them win the round? No. Did it help them win the map? Also no. Still, it sparked a big debate. Is that thing even allowed? Well, Woody from ODDIK said that PGL allowed it beforehand. Basically, the TO gave the green light. There is no official rule against it. But, well guys, can you imagine? The very next day PGL drops the new rule. You cannot use this bug in a game. So it's over. In the end, the match went to the decider. And despite Taz doing his best, I'm not joking here, ODDIK came out on top. Poor G2, I mean, Taz wasn't even the worst player. Elsewhere in the 0-1 bracket, Virtus.pro managed to beat M80, though it was far from easy. Meanwhile, Gamer Legion had a rough one. They ran into FURIA and lost. On one side, great job for Fallen's gang, but on the other, it's a rough patch for Ash's squad. After finishing last year strong and starting 2025 with some promise, they are now in a shaky spot and slipping fast. Moreover, they will not attend the major. So, after 2 rounds of matches, 4 teams have secured a 2-0. NAVI, the Mongols, Spirit, and somehow Astralis. On the brink of elimination, we've got G2, M80, Gamer Legion, and Ho2. And guys, imagine this. Hunter finally arrives in Astana, just in time for G2 to get eliminated. Crazy. It sounds crazy, but it could be real. And that's all for today, my friends. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, follow the channel, and drop by in the comments below. I am not saying goodbye for a long time. See you soon.